Have you ever thought that the Bible seems to contradict what scientists purport to be reality? Taken literally, I'd agree 100%. Well, what if I told you there's a theory that reconciles it? Hello, I'm Dane, and this is Dane Explains. There are quite a few things that happen in the Bible that scientists say are either literary tools or complete fiction. Christians believe God can work miracles, so that solves a lot of the discrepancies in most of the Bible. Well, there is an existing theory in quantum mechanics, or more like a concept at this point, that may provide an answer for those discrepancies. And yes, I said quantum mechanics. Let me explain why. First off, the video I made last week is key to understanding this one, so I'd recommend watching it first. Heck, for the first time in my channel, I'll put a card right there. Assuming miracles are real, there are still things in the Bible that don't seem to match with the scientific understanding of the world and the universe, especially our understanding of how history played out. Many Christians are not just creationists, but believe the earth and the universe are less than 7,000 years old, although I'd argue Genesis 1 matches the scientific understanding of creation. Genesis 2 doesn't seem to. Sin and death enter the world through Adam and Eve's fall. If God just created the world, that would make sense. However, the fact that there are fossils over that age at all flies in the face of that. I mean, it would be hard to make fossils if there weren't dying creatures in the world before the fall. So, how would the narrative for the creation of the world depicted in the Bible be correct? When I was a kid, my mother always used to tell me God put fossils there to make smart people ask questions. One thing that misses, of course, that God is outside of the universe and time. So God could create Adam and Eve, and the whole history of the universe leading up to the moment He created them. The issue with that relates to what I pointed out earlier. Sin and death entered the world through Adam and Eve's sin. So wouldn't God be creating death by making the universe with a history of it, based on what Adam and Eve did? No, but before I continue, I'd like to mention what I'm about to say is just a theory, of course, because the Bible doesn't bother to go into detail, and there would be no provable physical evidence left for scientists to find. Although the Bible does give us hints, which I'll mention in a minute. This is where the concept I talked about in my last video comes in, which is Schrödinger's cat, which is the idea that a cat can both be dead and alive at the same time, because the thing that happened to kill it, or not kill it, was random, and happens inside of a box that's cut off from the rest of our universe. If you're confused, watch my last video, because I'm about to wade into the physical theory. It's less than 6 minutes. Okay, what would happen if you were the cat in Schrödinger's box, but without the thing in there that randomly kills you? The longer you were in the box, the more and more random things would happen outside the box. The whole universe would slowly slide into a superposition of various states, as things could happen one way or another, until you were freed from the box anyway. Then, all those states would collapse into one reality. Now let's say the box and our universe were created together, but are isolated from one another. Something in the outside universe led up to the box's existence. But for the cat inside, it would only know what's inside the box, and that something led to its existence inside the box. Even though the universe is very old, the whole thing is in one giant set of quantum superpositions. When the box is opened, the universe could collapse into literally anything as long as its history led to the cat in the box existing. If Adam and Eve were the cat and the Garden of Eden was the box in my analogy, this could explain how the universe got the way that it is. How would this work? First, there are two creation stories in the Bible. The one in Genesis 1 actually matches the creation story of the universe as we understand it scientifically speaking, as long as you take each day of creation as a stage of creation rather than literal days. In fact, I think it actually calls them generations of creation, which makes sense because the days don't pass with the sun, and God didn't make the sun until the third day. So Genesis 1 could be describing the universe outside Schrödinger's box. Genesis 2 is another account that focuses specifically on the creation of man, where God creates Adam, puts him in the garden, and creates all of the animals for him to name. Notice in Genesis 2, man and the animals were created and brought to the garden, not taken from the outside world to the garden. So Eden is Schrödinger's box. The universe itself doesn't collapse into one full of sin and death until Adam and Eve's fall. Adam and Eve eating from the tree of knowledge could be the action which caused God to let the rest of the universe collapse into a single state. If this is true, Adam and Eve's actions could have caused the universe to be in the fallen state that it's in from the beginning, without the need for God to either create death or create a lie to fool us. So, scientists don't have to be wrong about history, evolution, or the Big Bang. Basically, both young Earth creationists and Big Bang believers can be correct, because both would have actually happened. Of course, that doesn't explain everything. God would have had to do things like make the Garden of Eden a giant Schrödinger's box, and then maintain that state up to some point. But, that could be explained with a miracle. Also, there's the tricky question of the flood, which lacks scientific evidence and happened thousands of years later. But that's a story for another video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and other topics ranging from theology to science, please press the like button. Subscribe to my channel and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon to get extra content and special perks. Link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.